Okay, guys, hopefully we are in the right place right now. So welcome to Crazy Days. I am just adjusting. I'm about 7 minutes late, but we're here. I did not change the URL, so I had to get OBS up and running. So Federally it made it in. So we are up and running. So guys, we're rendering lard and we're almost to the point of taking it and jarring it up. So we're going to let Danny answer questions, but for now, I'm going to try and turn it around. Can you take it there for a minute?
Yes, I can.
Amanda's going to take it. This is Freedom Acres.
Hello.
We're going to show you what we're doing, and
This is what it looks like right now.
it's been going since, what, before 7 o'clock?
Yeah, about a little over 3 hours.
Where did my coffee go?
I'm not sure.
Here it is. Never mind. I found it. Okay, just hunting coffee. Amanda and I have been rendering this since early this morning. We had to show the second pot.
Yeah, the second pot over here.
Can y'all hear Danny?
Yes.
Should.
You have it on a low simmer. You don't ever want to do your lard just on a very low simmer. You don't want it to be very much.
We talked about the type pots we're using.
It's better to do it in the cast iron than it is the stainless because the cast iron holds its heat better and more evenly than the stainless does, but we didn't have but one cast iron pot this size, so we're trying to get this done, then we can move this over into this pot.
And then we have a third.
And then we have a third one that we'll be putting in, yes.
And then we're in the freezer too.
All right, are you making cracklins for making mini goodies with it?
Yes.
You're going to be using that for...
We'll be using it for cornbread, different things like that.
Okay, somebody said they're confused by the double feed. What happened, I did not change my URL to Crazy Days, and it popped up on Deep South, so I tried to go kill Deep South and go to Crazy Days. Hopefully, there is not a video on Deep South right now. It should be Crazy Days. So we have a whole bunch of people popped in.
Lots of people. Hey y'all.
Danny Notice is running with his live. Is it still on Deep South? It shouldn't be.
No.
Do we have two feeds? One on Deep South? Oh, it's gone. Okay.
Okay, we're ready to take jars out of the oven.
Okay. Where do you want
And
this
Okay. Y'all, I'm going to try and show what we're doing as they do it. Okay, we have our jars in the oven. They're warm. They're not, I think it's on 200. So we're taking a hot jar out because you do not want to
put coal or...
All right, back up this way just a touch. Okay, we're going to try and do this at a really weird angle right now. The jar's hot.
one?
He can do this. Okay, it's gone from Deep South. Good. What is the fat from? It is from a pig. We had a friend that did not need the fat from the pig that they had butchered, so we are using that. And we are having 2 pigs butchered next week, so we're going to have even more. Okay, Lacey's the one that asked about it. Hers did not set up. Do you have any suggestions as to why?
No, that I do not know. I've never had that happen.
So Lacey, how did you render your lard? Did you render it on the stove in a crock pot? I know people have different ways of doing it.
Did you put lots of water in it?
Did you put a lot of water in it? That could be, we only put 1/4 cup of water to start. I'm gonna sit this down now. I think y'all are, well, let's go this way. I think I can sit that down, y'all can see better. Okay, so they've got the first in there, the first jar. They're wiping the top. And no, you're okay.
Okay.
I've got it set. It's doing really good there. Let me see, Lacey. If you answered, I'm not sure how you did it. Is this the leaf fat?
No.
No, this was just regular, the regular fat
This
from
is just
the pig.
Fat off the back of the pig.
And you guys can see how clear that is.
Yeah, see how clear? And Danny's going to explain in a minute about the heat and all that and answer questions. But while they're doing this part, I wanted you guys to see this part of it.
on top.
Do you try putting it in the fridge to cool it or harden it?
No.
No, we
Let
do not
let
put it in the
harden
fridge.
naturally.
We just sit it on the cabinet and it does its thing. Farming our backyard said they'd never seen this done before. And RB says we never kill hogs until after the first frost. Well, we have an opportunity to have a local butcher that is a friend of ours come and get our hogs for us. So we are not actually doing our own. We should have done our hogs back in the fall and the winter, and it didn't happen because we started the cabin. And so now we're just going to let our friend do the butchering because she has her own. She has a slaughterhouse, and that may not be kosher saying slaughter. She has a processing plant, guys. Coffee's on, guys. Look, my coffee's right here. Hello, Grandpa's Farm, and everybody else has popped in. Okay, bring your questions on. Danny's going to be able to answer them. I'll answer as many as I can, but the technical stuff he'll get to in a minute. This is cooked at medium to low since after 7 o'clock this morning. And you don't, if you get it too high, the heat too high, it's going to make your lard turn yellow. And you don't want yellow or brown looking lard. You want it white. So that's jar number 2. Yeah, everybody has their own way of doing things and how they have to do it. And when an opportunity presents itself, then you go with it. That's what we did yesterday. We had lots of wonderful opportunities pop up yesterday. And Amanda's going to be talking about some of those on her channel. And I don't have your face in it. I just got this in it. Y'all forgive me. We'll get faces. We'll get faces in it in a few minutes.
We have had a lot of things pop up. A lot of opportunities to put up good food.
Oh, that's also abundantly blessed. I would love my own handmade mug. Do you, can you send it to, send me an email at deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com. That would be awesome. She said that coffee just tastes better in a handmade mug.
I didn't know that.
Oh, that would be awesome. What do you think the temperature of fat was at the time of jarring up? Do you have any
And
idea?
what?
The temperature of the fat. Do you have any idea?
Not without a thermometer. I mean, it's just barely simmering.
Yeah, it was at a good simmer. I'm going to have in next week a picture video of the lard. And Amanda's going, what are you doing tomorrow? Tell them what you're doing tomorrow.
Tomorrow you guys can go to my channel and see the finished products. We're just live here today, but you guys can go over there and we'll also show you guys what it ended up looking like.
How do you get lard without a pig?
You don't.
You don't.
Well, you can do beef. You can do a goose.
You can do a goose.
You need tallow.
You can do tallow
And
from
you
a
can
beef.
do beef tallow. It just tastes different.
Yeah.
If you have a cow, you can take the fat from that and render it down. People did that. And like Danny said, a goose. Not many people have geese to do that, but if you have enough, he's checking the temperatures to see what's going on right now so we can answer that question.
You don't have to get.
Thank you, abundantly blessed. I appreciate that.
This only goes to.
Yeah, we had yesterday several blessings. Danny prays all the time for good deals, and we ended up with some good deals, and Amanda's going to talk about them, but
Amazing deals.
this is one of them, carrots, y'all.
Pennies. We paid pennies for them carrots, y'all.
This was an awesome thing. She's doing the video. Well, she was going to put it up tomorrow, but look for it the next day maybe.
Yes.
Tomorrow will be lard, and the next day may be our good haul.
Well, and the ironic thing is that just the day before yesterday, we were talking about how we didn't have enough food put up, and we were kind of spazzing a little bit
About
different things that we needed, and we didn't know where we were going to get those things. And
yeah,
then
because
the
carrots
next
is
day
one
we
of them.
went to town. Carrots was one, lard was one. We went to town the very next day, and all this stuff kind of just hopped in our lap, right? It was
All right,
amazing.
Grandpa's Farm, Amanda's channel is Freedom Acres. We're going to try and put links. If I don't forget, we're going to put a link to Amanda's channel, so she will have hers up tomorrow. I will have a picture video of the process up next week. I've got things to do this weekend. Michelle asked, Michelle, so you can ask the butcher to give you the fat from the pig. You can ask. I don't know if they will or not, but ours are friends, so we know how. We
But
know.
they may sell it to you at a cheap price because
Yeah.
it's something
Yeah.
that they won't use all of.
Lots of places uses it for making sausage, and so they keep it in stock. But if they're not making sausage right at the moment, then they have little use for it. So what do we use the lard for? We take a little bit, like a teaspoon in the morning, and Danny fries our eggs in it. So it takes very little. So we never buy any type of oil right now.
Makes the best cookies, y'all.
And Amanda makes cookies. She
It's
just
like
likes
the last batch of cookies I
Oh.
used lard. I was like, oh, I ain't never using anything else.
She's liking the lard and the cookies. You can make cakes, and we use it in. I don't really fry anything anymore, but you could. I take and pan fry, like lightly stir fry type most veggies. So I use the lard for that. Yeah, Danny's gonna talk about some of that. Pie crust. Yes, pie crust would be awesome.
With pie crust, if you do pie crust, you want to use what's called the leaf lard.
Yeah, if you have leaf
which
lard.
is from around the kidneys and all in there. That makes the best pie crust.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mimsy. Mimsy put up Freedom Acres link, so any of you that don't know Freedom Acres, click on the link that Mimsy put up and you will find her. So Beth says their butcher sells the pig fat for 68 cents per pound. So you just have to ask. If they have it for sale and you can't get it any other way, then hey, go for it. I'm going to show you guys. Well, say hey. Somebody's just joining the world today. Okay, this is what it's looking like sitting on the cabinet. Isn't that gorgeous? It looks just like oil that you purchased at the store right now. We're going to show the finished product. Amanda will tomorrow, and I will throw a quick picture later this afternoon on Instagram of a jar or two to see what it looks like, but Amanda's going to explain some of it tomorrow.
Yes.
Sunshine, they said good morning. You can use lard in soap making. Yes. If you have lard in jars like this and it goes bad and it smells a touch rancid, you can use it in soap. You can use it in soap even now, but I mean, don't throw it away is what I'm saying. If it smells a little funky, you can still use it in soap. There's always uses. What Danny can explain in a few minutes some of the uses with animals and everything else. Deborah said she's making spaghetti sauce today. She saved tomatoes all summer long to make spaghetti sauce.
Looking good.
Yeah, Gemini says she likes using the leaf lard. Yeah. Let's see.
Lots
Do we
of cookies
have?
in our future.
Yeah, lots of cookies and good stuff if we have all the stuff to make it. Are you processing it in the canner? No.
No.
We
Not
simply.
necessary.
You just leave it on the counter. It's going to suck that lid down.
It'll suck the lid down, I promise you. Does the lard have a flavor at all, or pretty much no flavor? It has
This lard will have a little bit of a flavor. Leaf lard has very little flavor if it's processed very slowly.
If you burn it, it's definitely going to taste, but you use it anyway because you ain't wasting nothing here.
Yeah. So last year we made some and it was beautiful and white, and then I made some later and it turned a little tinge brown. It wasn't brown, but I got it a little too hot.
And you know, I still use that lard in cookies,
And it's
you could
delicious.
almost taste like a bacony flavor almost in the cookies, but it wasn't bad. Like it went with it.
Bacon goes with anything.
Right? I did like an oatmeal raisin cookie, and it just had this like tinge of bacony. Like you could almost smell bacon when you ate it. It was really good. So
Yeah.
still use the stuff if you mess it up.
Lard and biscuits. Yes, if you
Yes.
make homemade biscuits, oh my goodness, yes. That's probably going to be one of our things. Danny uses, his biscuits are made with almond flour, and I have not tested the lard in an almond flour biscuit. We have been putting,
Because we were running out of lard.
yeah, we were
So
running
we-
out. So now we're going to have a surplus.
Now we can
We're
experiment.
going to experiment with gluten-free biscuits with lard in it, almond biscuits. They're saying the USDA says process for 10 minutes.
Well,
Well, is all I can say. We've never.
Well, let me tell you this way: my forefathers done this for hundreds and hundreds of years, and they made it just fine.
Ours, we've never had a problem. And back in the day, 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, I simply put it in a lard bucket, and you never processed that.
Right.
so now he's pressing at the side. We don't have a lard press, so he's just pushing at the side.
Why don't you use that bacon press, or would that work?
I gotta have something against the edge of those.
I got it.
And then he's putting those in another bowl here, so they don't soak the lard back up. Because they'll puff back up if you leave them in there.
And it would be great if you had a press to do this. And
Yeah, they
probably,
make I'll probably eventually buy one.
Won't you use a bacon press once you get those out? Or put them on a cookie sheet?
No, because once they lay here for a moment, you're not gonna get anything else back out of
Okay,
them.
gotcha. I wonder what the shelf life is. Okay, if the way we used to do it and put it in a lard bucket was 6 months or less. So we would do the lard at the beginning of the fall, like when the cool weather comes, September, October, and I would have lard all through most of till summer, because when it starts getting hot, those buckets are going to start turning rancid here in the Deep South. If you're up north, it might last you a year. But here in the Deep South, about 6 months during the wintertime and into the spring till fall, till summer. If you've got a cool place,
But in your
would
jars,
last
it's not
longer.
going to do that.
yeah, the jars
In
don't
your
do
jars, you're going to be fine.
The jars are sealed where no air can get to them.
And you keep them in the house.
No, Steve, ours is not. We have a pig that we got from Steve that is probably going to have babies, but we haven't had any yet. We're thinking closer to October, November, or December. We're not sure of an exact date. Danny just figures it's going to be in the fall because we don't know exactly when she was bred. Can I have that pot full of future cracklins? If you come visit, I'll give you some, just saying, because we're going to have some. You got to come this
Make
week.
some good cornbread.
And we'll make you some cornbread. So come on, Miss Lippy. Let's
Do you
see.
want me to work on this so you can do your Q&A? Answer questions.
Okay, so Brenda Duncan 1900, has a bucket of lard that was never processed, and it's still good 6 months later. So you always test your lard. When we open a jar, sniff
This is your
test.
best asset right here.
Your nose.
Sniff everything.
Smell of it. If it smells like it's rancid, then it probably is.
If your sniffer's not working, find a child because they never lie, and they will tell you something stinky.
Mm-hmm.
I do that with Sunshine sometimes just so that she knows what to do with the jar, and I'll just crack some open and let her smell it. So she knows what it's supposed to smell like, and then if anything happens, I can tell her what it does it's supposed to smell like.
Yeah, Tammy Hansen was saying the USDA also says to process dill pickles and stuff, but she does like her grandma. She says, I'm boiling them in the brine, putting them in the jar, and letting them sit on the counter to seal. Jellies and jams will do the same thing. They'll seal on the counter, but it says to process them 10 to 15 minutes. Cornbread with cracklins, yes. All right, Miss Lippy says, oh man, I'm trying to hold off coming for carrot planting. When are we planting carrots?
Probably the end of September, mid-September, toward the end of September.
Steve is asking, are we going to be around this weekend? Danny will probably be somewhere. I've got somewhere to go, and so somebody will be around. How long has your jars lasted stored before going rancid? I think I've got a jar in there. Let me go see what date is on them.
All right, guys, this is where we wish we had a press, but because I don't have a press, I have to do it by hand. And when you do it by hand, you don't get all the grease out of it, but you do get a pretty good bit. Then we get through, while the cracklins are still a little bit oily, we'll put just a little bit of salt on them.
Okay, guys, this right here is some that we did on September the 3rd. So we're at August the 16th. This is almost a year old. Right here, September 3rd. So we're still using, we have a few jars of this left. That's why we were in a hurry to get some done. We didn't want to run out. So this is almost a year old in a jar. Ours never lasts past a year, so I don't know past that because we rotate. Danny said first week of October, so she's looking to the first week of October to come. We're gonna have some in the freezer, so if you need some, Miss Sleepy, just let us know. How long is your jars lasted stored before going rancid? Okay, that's what I just answered. We don't really have any that goes rancid because we don't keep them that long. But a year, these will last up to a year because that's what I was just showing you. What do you mean a press? Maybe better than my screen I use.
They make a regular press that's a cylinder tube that has a crank on top of it. You put the lard in it and turn that crank. It looks like it's like an apple press when you press apples. But it's made to do lard with.
Yo, I'm cutting his head off, but I'm trying to. Y'all can see a little bit. Can't you use 2 wooden spatulas to press together?
Nope, it's too hard.
Yeah, this pot is a cast iron pot that is, what do you call it, enamel coated?
Yeah.
So the cast iron enamel coated pot works out great for rendering lard. How long do you render before jarring up?
You cook it until the lard takes on a stiff-like texture. It kind of has a hollow sound to it when your spatula hits it.
Not the lard, the fat. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
The fat, you said lard. The lard is actually the
fat, yeah.
When the fat takes on, it looks like it's puffing up like a pork skin would.
It's not soft anymore.
So it's been going since 7, and it's 3.5 hours right now. Some people do it in a crock pot, but Danny and I tried that. It would take forever, and you never get the crock pot up to a semi-boiling stage enough, in my opinion. We just finally put it in a cast iron and did it last year. We were tired of waiting.
All right, we're about ready to do another jar.
All right, let's see. All right, Steve, that sounds good. Danny and Steve may come Sunday. Slow and low. Did we ever get this over about 4 or 5 on the stove?
No, we have medium or less.
Medium or less is what you cook it on the stove. In a crock pot, you can put it on high, and you're still probably never going to burn it in a crock pot as long as you watch it. I think a crock pot would be a safe. Yeah, you can melt it in a crock pot.
Never add lard to what you already have cooking.
All right, Jen, go ahead. She's going back to teaching. She was watching while she was teaching. All right, never add what?
Never add fresh lard to what you're already cooking.
I'm going to let you answer some of those questions in just a minute. You want me to finish that up? I'm going to let Danny come over here and answer questions because he's to the point now. I think he's gotten.
So I got a little bit more to press.
Okay, well, he can answer questions in just a second. I can press them if you want. That jar's about there. We got a little bit. He can answer any questions as far, and just talk about all the details beginning to end if you want
This
to.
thing is extremely hot.
Okay. Historically, rendering was done with a very large cast iron kettle over an open fire in the yard. We have one of those, and we would love to do that, but that might be this winter if we can, but I'm not sure. Danny thought this morning that he would love to do that, but it's a little hot. 120 degrees during the afternoon is too hot to be sitting stirring a kettle over a fire. Maybe in the wintertime if we ever get any cold weather. Okay, RB says you can rub a little lard on your joints to help with arthritis. And that is really true because I had a friend years ago that said she started using fish oil, and the fish oil helped with the arthritis joints, and she got to where she could walk. So it would make sense. Any oil or lard or anything like that, and that's probably what they put in some of your best medicines to help with arthritis joints, or used to. Let's just say used to. Nowadays they put chemicals. Tracy said they did their lard in an oven in large toaster pans, smacked on Cracklins for months. Yes. So can we take these Cracklins, or whatever they're called, put them on a cookie sheet, salt them down, stick them in the oven?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's the process we'll probably do in just a little bit. We're going to put the other pot in this. Do you need another jar? We can do that while you talk if you need it, I think. Okay. So the second pot is going in the first pot when we get all the stuff out.
Or I'm just gonna use on this one once we do. I'm just gonna press it here though.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll never get them.
All right. I remember, I'm trying to read comments. What was the one I was looking for? I remember my grandfather rubbing lard on his dog's skin problems. Yes, that's one of the things that Danny will talk about in a few minutes about the benefits of lard and your dogs.
I can't hardly hold my hand against the side of it.
It's too hot.
It's cast iron.
Yeah. And you have to be very, very careful with this. You don't want to splatter it. Did y'all hear a pop? One's already popped.
Yay! That is the best sound on the planet.
Yeah. And let me show y'all again.
That's awesome.
Okay. This is what it's looking like right now. And until it cools off, it's going to look like oil for a long time.
It'll take it a day.
Probably close to 24 hours. So once it starts turning colors and starts whitening up, Amanda's going to do her video. And sometime tomorrow evening, I'll show you I won't show you tomorrow, but next week in the process, we'll have it after 24 to 48 hours.
That was exactly 9 pints.
9 pints. Okay, so that's how many we got out of the first batch. All right, you want me to move things around while you talk? I can do that for you. What are you doing? You gonna show that process? Can you take this?
Yes.
We're trying to, y'all have to give us a second. I can move. All right, this is the next process.
Extremely hot.
All right, talk about what you're doing while you're doing.
All right, this is our pressed out Cracklins. We're going to lay them out here and let them be cooling. I got them at this stage. Now, we're going to salt them just a little bit while they're still a little bit oily. And if you wanted to season them with any other kind of seasonings, you could do that if you like to season the Cracklins in something else. But this is it, guys. And once these things cool off, talk about some good eating.
Do we need to put them in the oven?
No.
Okay, so we're not even putting those in the oven.
You don't have to. I mean, you can, but you don't have to.
It would brown them on up, right?
Yeah, it would just crisp them up. But I like mine soft, so when you put them in cornbread, they stay soft. They're not
Or can I
hard.
put some in the oven to crispy up?
You could.
Okay, so next batch we're gonna put in the oven. This batch we're leaving out because Danny wants for cornbread. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, now comes the process. We gotta transfer this to this.
Okay, so
You want me to?
can we put it
Okay.
over? Yeah. We're doing some fancy work, y'all. We've got a whole
Y'all like my
camera
camera?
crew here.
My camera skills?
Yeah, y'all like the camera skills?
Trying to stay steady, guys.
Yeah, it's hard to hold that steady after a few minutes. Oh, a little slap your mama. Kicked it up a notch. I'm going to brown some in the oven because I really like munching on them. And so now we have 9 pints, and Danny's adding the second batch. And we still have some in the refrigerator that hadn't even started yet. Probably enough for the pan he's got going, the boiler. And then we have a whole nother box. So we'll do this a second time. But tomorrow we're going to be picking peas.
Picking peas,
And we have pears in the floor.
canning peas, pears, everything.
And pears.
Rattlesnake beans.
Rattlesnake beans, if there's any out. Y'all, I'm gonna do a video on our butter peas. Y'all, hopefully it'll come out. I don't know when it's coming out, but y'all, them butter peas are amazing.
They're doing
Thanks
great.
to Danny.
Tricking us like that, y'all. Y'all don't know what we're talking about. Go back and see the video. What did you title that?
I don't even remember. Something about
All right.
Danny's trick. Ooh, what? Y'all don't want to splatter this, and I see splatter, so don't
Well,
stand at the side that.
That's getting less oil than it would if I just tried spooning it. I'm getting it everywhere.
Yeah, I see. We're doing good. This is team effort. Okay. So we're going to cook this for probably a good hour to hour and a half or more until all those are brown in that pot.
And then do it all over again.
Okay, so I'm gonna move some stuff around where you can sit it and Danny can sit here and see the chat. And I'm gonna let Danny answer questions if Amanda can get us.
Yes, I will
We're gonna
try
put
to
him over here
situate.
in the chair.
I'm so sorry, guys.
All right, guys, look at
There we
this.
go.
Where's the camera?
Okay.
We're gonna put it on Danny in a minute, but look at this. This is a little bitty piece of fat that had meat on it. I'm gonna munch on it, and I'm gonna let y'all just hear the crunchy crunch and just wish you had a piece.
Ain't right.
It's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna sit here. Danny's gonna be here in just a second. He's adding. See, I had some coffee while I was doing this. This is awesome. Oh, y'all, it tastes good. Cornbread, red beans, and fried potatoes. Oh, it would be good with potatoes. Ooh. Y'all hearing those pops? Listen. Rachel, you need to come play at our house. We have, yesterday was carrots, chicken. Amanda will be talking about that too. We did chicken. We did 3 canners yesterday after 2:30. 3 canners. 2 of them with chicken, 1 of them with carrots. This morning we got up, did carrots, and now we're rendering lard. And tomorrow is the butter peas, the pears, and then probably the first of the week another thing of lard. So
We need some more jars.
we need more jars. I'll grab them. You sit here and talk.
Yeah,
Process. I know. Process beginning to end.
Process beginning to end. All right.
Yeah. Now where did my cracklins go?
They're in the oven. I'm gonna go ahead and let them.
Oh, he's stuck them in
I tuck them in the oven. Let them heat just a little bit. It's not gonna hurt.
Because I'm getting these little pieces right here.
I know you got the munchies for cracklins, and there's nothing wrong with that, guys. That's the way it is. It's life at Deep South Homestead. Look at that. A true cracklin actually has a piece of meat on it. It's not just pure fat. It actually has a small piece of meat that's done turned hard and crispy on it.
And it tastes good.
Listen.
It crunches.
Oh,
It's good.
it's good.
Now answer them beginning to end.
Okay. Let me see here. No, we have no fried potatoes, Cynthia. This is lard being rendered out, making cracklins.
Y'all, that's so
lard.
good.
How many pounds of fat do you have?
Approximately 30, 35.
Around 30, 35 pounds, Steve. Well, probably closer to 40 because there was an extra bag with it. About 40 pounds of fat.
You want to show this before I put
Yes.
this thing?
Okay, this is what Amanda has here. You want to cut your pork fat up into little 1-inch square cubes. You don't want big pieces. You want small. The smaller the pieces, the faster the render.
So I'm going to put this in the pot.
Yeah, she's going to take this now and put it in the pot. Put a 1/4 cup of water in there before you ever start.
Okay. You talk. We're going back to the Vanna White thing. Let me
we're gonna
show.
do the Vanna White thing again here.
Okay, do we need to clean this out or
Good
leave this
morning,
brown
Denise.
stuff?
Does it matter, Danny?
Do we need to clean the pot or
No,
just?
you don't have to.
Okay.
Alright, quarter cup going in.
Don't ever put over a quarter of a cup of water, because if you do, you'll never get it cooked out of the lard, and the lard will not set up. And I
Only
guess
put
that would
part of
answer
it.
the question the
Cover the
lady had a while ago.
And we only cover the bottom to start with the lard in order to get it stirred, because if you pile the lard in there now, it's really hard to stir it to start with. And we
Yeah.
watch this for about 20 minutes and give it time to melt down a little and then add the rest. And it makes it easier to stir.
Grizz, you done got into some cooking some lard here,
Okay.
rendering.
Now, beginning to end, you can answer questions.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cynthia. They were talking about fried potatoes earlier. Oh, it made you hungry. Well, if I had some fried potatoes, or I had some good old fried chicken in that homemade lard, oh man, that would be great. I have sit here and listened to, I think, every jar except one pop.
Have they all done?
Yeah, pretty much.
I see one right there that hasn't. I think all of them have, but that one in the middle out here hasn't. It hasn't cooled off enough.
This one looks, no, that one. It's not.
Okay, maybe a couple of them right there in the middle.
Why?
All of them pretty much have popped already.
Oh, that's awesome. That's exciting.
That means we're there.
Yay!
Okay, start talking about what we do with the
Oh.
lard to start with. And we'll
That's
watch
just
that.
not right. All that goodness, all up in the camera. Yeah, I know, Denise. It's Brenda says, I grind mine before rendering. It's much faster. That's correct, Brenda. If you got a way to grind it, you can ask your butcher to grind it. It's just that when you get through, you don't have those big pieces of cracklin. Your cracklins are all kind of crumbly to me, and I would rather have pieces of
We
stuff.
want fat.
But it does render faster if it is ground. That is correct. Oh.
So we're continuing.
Yeah, Cynthia says fried everything. Yeah, you know, the sad part about it is I don't have a gallbladder anymore.
And we
And-
fry nothing.
We don't really fry anything, but it don't keep me from missing it. You know, I still want something fried occasionally. Eva says she's canning beans and spuds in her kitchen right now. Okay, Heaven's Essential says, why do you have to add water? That little bitty quarter of a cup of water, Heaven's Essentials, what it does is it keeps the lard or the fat from actually trying to burn and stick to the bottom of the pot when you first start rendering it. Now the water will cook out of it, and that's why you don't want to put any more than a quarter of a cup, because if you do, then you'll never cook it out. Some people will say, oh, you can add a half a cup or a whole cup. Don't do it. I'm telling you.
It takes longer to cook it out.
You'll be cooking for hours and hours and hours and hours beyond what you need to, and then your lard will turn out brown instead of white.
And so that might be the Boutwell's, I can't remember first name, the Boutwell's question. There might have been too much water.
That's
If you
what
put
I think.
too
Yeah,
much
if
in
they
it.
put too much water in it, yeah.
Okay.
Deborah says, I'm making spaghetti sauce today from their tomatoes. And you see, this is what makes it so good, is when you can make your own homemade stuff. And Steve says, how many pints does that make for you? Well, Steve,
Right now.
we got 9 out of 15 pounds. So do the math.
No, we've got more than that because we finished.
Oh, I'm sorry. We got 9 out of probably 10 pounds. We probably got 5 pounds over here still to go, don't we?
What all of this? So
And
all
that probably 9.
We'll have at least 8.
well, all we processed is one Dutch oven full.
Oh, that's true.
Then we're gonna have 3.
So how many quarts is this worth? I mean,
We just
like
did.
What,
Well, we just did
no, what
9.
size is the Dutch oven?
It's
We
a
have
6,
like
8 quart. It's either a 6 or 8 quart Dutch oven.
So-
So in the 8-quart Dutch oven,
We'll have
we
close to
rendered
25.
9 quarts, right?
Fine.
5. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll have 9, 18. We'll probably have close to 20, 25 pints out of 15 pounds of lard.
And then we got that much to go. A little over that, actually.
And then we got that much to do again. Don't skip the cracklins. I am with y'all. Love crispy cracklins. Yeah, I went ahead and decided to put these in the oven because I tasted one of them and it had just a little bit too much lard to it.
It needed to go a little longer.
Christy said, do you just go to the butcher and ask for pork fat? You can. Now, you may have to pay for it. We don't have to pay for it because we're friends with the butcher and they always have so much that they don't really have a need for it. And you may find a butcher that's like that. They may tell you that we don't need it and just give you the excess. Let's see. I get it by small slabs from the butcher, then I have to cut from the, yeah, you have to cut it up from there, that's right, Denise.
Alright, that's what we did. I spent this morning, me and Amanda cut up this morning. And to explain the size chunks, you already have, you showed.
Cynthia says, Danny, will you have Cherokee tan seeds for next year? I know you said yours didn't do well this year. We have seeds right now, Cynthia. If you want to order them and keep them for next year, that's fine. We still have plenty of seeds.
Why did you have them up?
I'll have to go look and see if they're still there.
They should be on our Etsy store, deepsouthhomestead.etsy.com.
Told them if they're not there, Wanda will add some later.
We will add them if they're not there. Let's see, Pixel.
People seem to find them faster than I keep up.
I will never ever pick a perfectly good fresh cucumber again, Chris said. I'm making tomato juice to can. This is Mary. Frank is mowing. All right. Our butcher says no, not even bones for broth. What?
Really?
Really? I would find another butcher.
I would too. That's
I would
terrible.
go to another butcher. That's ridiculous.
That's going to become the norm, though.
Yeah, there's
So
plenty of-
That's what you're.
But I will say this, that Wanda's right, that's probably going to become the norm because of lawsuits and whatever things that they're afraid of. But
That's why it's best to grow your own, raise your own, butcher your own.
and
That's
Barter with friends.
barter with friends and befriend your butcher.
Take him a cake or something.
Take him something to eat. Do something for him special.
Make
Or her.
friends with those
for her.
people.
Yeah.
Ours just happens to be a female that's a very good friend of mine.
All right.
Eva says I would have to travel to find one. You can you order pork fat? You can order
Probably.
bacon
Is it okay?
slabs.
All right. Is
No,
it
they got
okay?
to be in the oven. It cannot have no water.
I
in it.
know that, but this is one of the questions you're going to answer. They have water on them, so I can go ahead and set them in. Yeah,
Set 'em.
show what it looks like.
So
You
Wanda
see
just
that?
washed this, and it's got water in it.
So
To
tell,
remedy that, we're gonna put it on a pan.
can I put it in there with the drips of water on this? What I'm asking. Is it going to matter?
Not in the oven, it won't.
So, and then
The
it'll
oven will
dry
dry
out.
The oven will
That's-
dry it.
that
You
would
got
be
to
a
put it in
question.
the oven to dry it. You can't have any water in it
Okay.
when you put the fat in it.
So that's what I was asking because I wanted them to know about that part.
Or the
You gotta
rendered
ex-
lard, yes.
You got to explain all that. That's what I'm asking you.
Denise says, I keep my butcher a happy man. He loves canned food.
Oh, you go, girl.
That's the way you do it, girl.
You're a true Southern
All
girl.
right, the back one is sizzling, needs stirring.
Lacey said, I might have put a little bit more than a quarter cup of water in it.
Stir the back one. It's sizzling.
It's starting to.
That may be the problem. If you put more than that in water, it.
Is there a difference in using wild pig fat? Now, it depends on what time of the year you get the pig. If you get the pig in the fall, there's a very good possibility that the pig will have an off taste to it, the fat, because the hogs forage on lots of acorns, and the tanning in the acorns seem to give fat a little bit of an off taste. Usually what I do before I take the lard from any hog that I do is I feed them out with some corn ahead of time to firm the fat up, because acorns leaves the fat kind of really soft and kind of jello-like, and it's really hard for it to set up. So that's one of the things that I've noticed over the years of doing hogs myself.
All right.
Most of the butchers here shut down back in 2010, so I don't know if any sell fat for making lard or so. You can
Ask them.
you can go to your local, like we have a Piggly Wiggly here, or some people have other regular food giant stores, and we just ask for the pork fat there, and they have always sold it to us there.
Asked about, tell them, or they might check any home-owned grocery store, more or less. I know Piggly Wiggly is a chain.
Like a mom and pop.
Like a mom and pop store, yeah, you might check with them.
Their rules are different.
Brenda says she takes her butcher's homemade candies, and they're very happy to give me extra pork fat and beef bones and
You
everything.
go, girl, work it.
Y'all have to be keeping these
Work it.
people happy. Don't make enemies of your butcher, your Cook County officials.
Eva, you can can your spuds with the peels on them. Don't let anybody fool you about that. As long as you wash them and boil them, parboil them ahead of time to get any grit or sand off of them.
If they're hers.
If they're yours, now if they come from somewhere else, if I went to a store and bought them, no, I would peel them. But if they're ones that you raised, I don't think you should have a problem.
We do some both.
Because a lot of them you buy in the store have had a sprout nip sprayed on them to keep them from sprouting, and I wouldn't want to eat that on a peeling.
It's getting there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's slowly getting there.
It takes
Denise
about-
says they love their hoggly woggly.
Yeah, we do.
Probably walking.
Yeah, Amanda's gonna talk about that haul tomorrow or next day.
Over there, yes.
One day in the near future, Amanda's gonna talk about the haul from Piggly Wiggly. And then I've got a quick video sometime about the carrots, but it's not dealing with the haul, but it is talking about carrots.
JT says we don't have any mom and pop food stores anymore.
Yeah.
I would consider
Time to
moving.
move.
It's time to move when you get in those kind of situations.
Oh,
It's time to
man.
pick up. You're getting too ritzy of a place.
Yeah. All right, so does anybody have any questions? Y'all ask Danny now because when we shut down, we fixing to eat lunch.
Yeah, we gotta eat lunch. It's getting
It's getting
That's why I'm hungry. I've been
10:51.
sitting here thinking, man, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm so hungry. It's lunchtime.
and we're fixing to heat some roast.
Yep. We'll have to- We just wanted to. We were rendering LARD this morning. Of course, I've been working at the cabin. I can't take anything from these people. I mean, these two women have been doing it all. I just come from the cabin and decided to give them a helping hand.
Okay, I will go add the seeds to Etsy. If they're not there, I'll add them in a few minutes. Okay. It runs out because I just put X amount so I know that I don't run out and have to refund money. So I have a few left. I'll go add some. All right.
Oh, let's see here.
Gemini's got 5 Cherokee tans.
Wow.
You go, girl.
Duncan said they finally made it to 72 degrees today. It's probably
Yeah.
It's
100
already.
outside.
It's probably already getting close to 100-degree heat index where we're at.
But it's not as hot today as yesterday.
Yeah, but you're right. It's not as hot.
Yesterday was bad.
Yesterday was really bad.
Okay, guys, if you don't have any more questions for Danny, we're fixing to get
Yep.
off. Feed this man so he can take a nap.
We feed him so he can sleep.
What can
Like
I
a
say?
baby.
Like a baby. They have to baby me.
We make him go to sleep and take a nap because he gets cranky.
See,
Look at Grouchy.
Denise says it's 98 and going up. That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about. People
Yesterday-
talk about how hot it is up north. Unless you've lived in the deep south with our humidity, you just don't get it.
Nope.
Yeah,
Um,
and yesterday,
back when you
around
started.
1:30, 2 o'clock, it was 122 degrees. Was it yesterday or day before? Day
The
before.
day before was 122. Yesterday was 117.
The day before, it was 122 degrees at 1 or 2 o'clock. It started raining. It dropped down to what?
74.
74. That's a huge drop.
Poor Danny. He's got it made, y'all. Don't
I
let
don't-
this man
look.
fool y'all.
No, it's not
Sound
like
we
that at
abused
all.
someone.
No, it's not like that. I get abused every day. You know?
You might after that.
Yeah, he's got to go work on the cabin. He's been insulating today and
Yes,
wiring.
I've been insulating and finishing up a little bit of wiring. My arms right now are covered up.
He's got to have a bath.
I might have to have a
and some
bath.
lunch and
Yeah.
yeah, we finished up the bedroom insulation, most of it yesterday overhead.
Yep.
And
I put the last piece in this morning.
good. And then we're going to work on the other end of the cabin or somewhere with the log siding. That's our next
Yeah.
thing.
What is the difference with Cherokee tan versus other pumpkins? The Cherokee tans will last over a year if you harvest them correctly with the long stem on the ends of them. They were a very sustaining food for the Cherokee Indians.
Thank you, Cynthia, for taking up for us
Right.
girls. She said, do
Great
they
beans.
mess with your peas and beans?
Hey.
Look, I planted, no, Danny planted.
Danny did it.
Danny planted
Wanda was
red
off.
rippers because I
Yeah.
wasn't here that day.
She wasn't here that day. She was
He
working the pole.
Okay, that didn't come out right.
I'm sorry, that didn't come out.
The
right.
voting poll.
The voting pole.
Voting precinct for the election. Let's change that way. I don't work polls. I work voting precincts, the elections, and he planted the red ripper peas, so I have them. They're about 5 or 6 inches tall. But the butter peas are what we're going to be picking tomorrow, and I'm going to put a
Yes.
video up on that soon.
Ooh, there was
Thanks,
another
Eva.
one.
She is special.
Oh, Gemini's fixing to get back in the garden. She's going to be released as far as her surgery went.
Yay.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
All right, so guys, we're fixing to go. Danny's gonna shut us down.
Y'all stick them thumbs up, hit that button, and be sure and go over tomorrow so you can see the finished product at Freedom Acres.
Yes, check out Freedom Acres, and we'll have a video sometime next week of the process and pictures. And check out Deep South tomorrow night.
And Etsy. Check the
Etsy.
store for the pumpkins.
And y'all go check out my green stalk on Deep South today. I put up the green stalk vertical planter showing what's going on with it, and it looks amazing.
It does.
Everything at Deep South is amazing.
Isn't it though?
It's rolling a little hard.
All right, guys. We'll talk to y'all later.
All right, we'll see you
Bye.
guys later. Bye bye.